Welcome everybody that's joined today's webinar. We are just waiting for the last few attendees to join and we will be starting shortly. Hi everyone, as mentioned, we're just waiting for a few more people to join and then we will begin. Great, everyone. So thank you very much again for joining today's webinar. Today, we will be exploring the ways payments can simplify your business on the path to growth. My name is Candy Davey. I am the VP of SDR here at Adyen. I'm joined by my wonderful colleague, Fred Potter. He is a product specialist here at Adyen. And over the next 15 minutes, we're going to guide you through the ways payments can help simplify your business, saving you time, money, and resources. So exciting. After that, we're going to be taking some questions from all of you. So in case you have any questions, please feel free to submit these anytime in the Q&A box, not in the chat box, please, so that we do have visibility of this. And I will be providing contact details at the end as well. So, Fred, if you could move to the next slide, please. Perfect. So let's look at when scaling up your business. So when scaling up, we know businesses are often plagued by too much operational complexity. Typically, this is a patchwork of technologies that can have a lot of unlinked internal processes. I know we've all been there. So more time is spent managing these rather than growing the business, which can be incredibly frustrating. However, an often overlooked strategy is the use of smart payments technology, and this can be a driving force to the simplification of your business. So we're going to look at the 3 areas that can help you here. Fred will start by outlining the first area, which is improving customer service and satisfaction.
Great, thank you very much, Candy. So I think to look at customer satisfaction, it's a good place to start is to look at some common shopper challenges that they have typically when shopping with merchants. The first is buying online and returning in store. Now, I'm sure we all have a personal experience of this, but it can be very frustrating when you've bought something online and you go into the store to return it and you find out that you're not allowed. Using the same provider across both environments is a really simple way to avoid this particular issue. Actionable insights. So let's say that you want to try something on, you want to travel to your nearest store. It's obviously not great customer experience if you have to travel a long distance to find your nearest store. So by using the payment provider's actionable insights, imagine this as a retailer, you can find out where the bulk of your customers are shopping from. It would allow you to make much more informed decisions on when to open stores next, but also evaluate the success of a particular marketing campaign, for example. Pay by link. So when we think about all of the interactions that a merchant might have with their shopper, that might be a social media campaign, it may be paying over the phone. It's simply not feasible to always build a online checkout from scratch to facilitate those shopper interactions. Pay by link is a way that you can create an online checkout via a payment link in a matter of minutes and get it out to your customers flexibly. It allows for much more varied shopper interactions and allows you to set up campaigns very quickly. Latest payment methods. So again, I'm sure we've all had a personal experience of this, but it can be very frustrating when a retailer or a merchant doesn't offer your preferred method of payment. This might be a mobile wallet, it might be a bank transfer method that are more popular across continental Europe. We believe that it's very important for merchants to set up with the right mix of payment methods, both from an environment perspective, but also from a geographical perspective to ensure high levels of customer satisfaction. And then finally, and not leastly, is securely storing payment details. So when you go to, or you repeating your purchase on a merchant's website, it's very frustrating if you have to re-input your card details. So by storing those details for future uses, you can really help minimize customer conversion loss, but also improve that customer satisfaction. So here are sort of 5 practical ways or practical problems that merchants can overcome to ultimately boost customer satisfaction. Now I'm going to look at some ways that merchants can help reduce costs, but also boost cash flow predictability. So let's look at it from a retail perspective. At the end of a particular trading day, your goal really is to reconcile the payments that you've received for that particular day. However, common challenges here are that you may be looking at multiple payout batches from different card networks, different payment methods, different environments, say the online versus the in-store payouts. So this really does add a lot of complexity, but also potential risks because you might be amalgamating data from multiple sources. So there are ways around this. Solutions such as Adyen's sales day payout really takes a single trading day and settles that in one single payment batch. So not only does it simplify reconciliation and allow you to much better predict your cash flows because you know exactly when a particular trading day is being paid out, but it reduces those potential risks of errors in moving data from one source to another. So overall, this can really save you a lot of time and ultimately allow you to focus your time on the activities that really meet the ultimate or the core needs of your customers. So Candy's now going to run through some of the ways that payments can help you ultimately optimize your performance.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Fred. So as Fred has covered customer service and satisfaction, really important, and how to reduce cost and boost cash flow, I'm going to talk about the all-important optimizing performance. More than just a buzzword, this is something that is critical to all business strategy, particularly at this time of year when we start to evaluate strategy for the next year. Now, the first step that businesses usually do is they look at which area of their business can have the greatest impact on their bottom line. And the usual suspects generally pop up: sales, marketing, accounting, even a broad topic like strategy. But next to these is the lesser seen, but equally, if not more important, which is your payments platform, because this can help significantly in some key areas, as you can see in this slide: inventory management, financial operations, knowing your customer, even something like staff rostering. So if we look at inventory management, this goes towards endless aisles. Now, endless aisles gives you a complete overview of all the stock held, whether this is in store or in your warehouse. So this enables you to sell in store even when your products are not in stock by accessing online inventory on an iPad or a self-service kiosk, essentially turning all of your stores into mini warehouses, critical at this time. Now, this ensures that you never lose a sale. You obviously have far more satisfied customers, and it allows you to allocate commission bonuses effectively across your team. The second is financial operations. Now, this is really important that as reconciliations and dispute management can take a lot of your time, a lot of your resources, can be quite costly for the business. It's really important that this is all done in a single payments platform so that monitoring and management can become significantly easier. The third, knowing your customer. Now, with the right partner, you will have detailed demographic shopper information, bit of a mouthful, but it will let you know which inventory lines you should have in stock in which store, and it supports you with speedy customer support. Really important that you have those ticked away. And finally, staff rostering. So, by examining the velocity of transactions on certain days or times during the year, relevant after Black Friday and going into Christmas, you can make sure you have enough staff in store at all times. Now let's move on to some real life customer examples. Fred?
Yeah, I'll start with Amara Living. So this is a retailer that I personally have worked quite closely with over the years. And Amara Living are a online retailer. They started as a small boutique in Essex. Started, I think, in 2005 by husband and wife, Andrew and Sam Hood. So originally they're a bricks and mortar retailer, but they quickly pivoted into the online space. They saw, I think, the opportunity of selling to a global audience and really scaling their business out internationally. So if we fast forward to today, they're now working with 300 different homeware brands, but also have their own very successful brand, which is called A by Amara. So let's look at some ways that Amara and Ajin have worked together over the last few years and how payments have helped them really sort of focus on their core business needs and outsource the complexity of payments to their provider. First of all, we made a lot of tweaks to the way that they accept payments online to really boost their card approval rates. So things like account updater, which are keeping the card details that you store on behalf of your customers as up to date possible, a really great way to do this. We also help them with 3D Secure. So as I mentioned before, PSD2 is a piece of regulation that's going to require 3D Secure versions 1 and 3D Secure versions 2 to be used much more frequently in the checkout process as of next year. So we've set them up with both versions of that authentication, allowing them really to use the version that is best suited to that particular bank and that particular customer, ultimately minimizing that conversion loss. And then thirdly, but again, certainly not of small importance, is really giving them an international coverage with the payment methods that they offer. So they sell in a really wide array of countries and regions: North America, Asia, the Middle East, all across continental Europe. So it's really important that they have the right mix of payment methods to allow those customers to pay via their preferred methods. Lifestyle sports, I believe, Candy, you're going to take us through a little bit of how we've been working with lifestyle sports over the years.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Fred. And I love that you touched on international expansion because that's what this business model is really about. So Lifestyle Sports is Ireland's largest sports retailer. They've been around for around 35 years. They operate in 53 outlets spread across Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And as the name would suggest, they stock sporting goods, sports fashions, that sort of thing. Now, Lifestyle Sports started to evaluate their business strategy and really wanted to move into a global expansion model. Now, they were using some outdated platforms that were limiting this expansion and started to relook across the board, how can we move into some of our key markets? So they approached Adyen, and how did we help them? Well, we did just that. We helped them to expand into different markets. And the first thing we looked at is what local payment methods are relevant to those markets. And these were the Netherlands, France, and Germany. And we started off initially offering their customers Ideal in Netherlands. We also provided them data to inform their decisions around new payment options through our customer insight and reporting. And from there, the implementation was even simpler. They also benefited from Adyen's cross-channel payments platform, another mouthful. We did this by providing endless aisle solutions where their customers can buy online via their iPads and in-store kiosks mentioned earlier. This obviously ensured that they never lost a sale, which was critical in a business growth stage. Lifestyle also found that this is a great for customer recognition and implemented some loyalty strategies off the back of this. And they were also able to store transactions, which informed their online risk management. So through both of these examples, we've shown how payments has helped the businesses scale up by saving them time, money, resources, as we promised at the start. And this also allowed them to focus their efforts on other parts of the business, which was really important. So before we open up to questions, and I've seen some really fantastic ones come through, I just want to talk about some of the key takeaways or learnings from today. The first is the connection between these three different areas is how choosing the right payments platform can give you one less thing to worry about, but more importantly, is critical for business growth. Now, businesses that scale the quickest are the ones that have been able to identify where in their business complexity exists and doing their utmost to tackle it. Then, once tackled, you'll be able to find the time and focus on areas that are most important to your business. Whether it's things like introducing a new technology or opening up new channels or expanding into new regions to further grow your business, just for example. So now we'd like to take the time to answer some of your questions. We've had some really, really great ones come through so far. So please do continue to send us any questions as you may have into the Q&A box. I promise any questions that we don't get to, I will be reaching out to each of you individually to answer these questions post this call. So the first one I think I'd like to tackle, Fred, if you wouldn't mind, which is what kind of shopper insights can a payment provider help with? Well, this goes to what I was talking about earlier. So if you can process all of your transactions online and offline with a single payment provider, you can essentially have a view of what we call the lifeline of your business, which is your consumers. So this means you can use insights to make business decisions like where to open up new stores, which channels are performing the strongest, what marketing campaigns are going to be the most successful based on the volume of specific transactions at a specific time, date, region, channel. You're able to see trends moving forward, which is really important. You can also recognize returning customers and their shopping patterns. And this is going to go a long way to drive better retention strategies across those channels. Fred, would you like to take the next one?
Yep, sure. So it's talking about how customer journeys need to evolve in the future and if there's any additional work to make sure that these future needs are catered for. Yeah, so I think payments is a very fast moving space. We've seen a lot of innovation and a lot of change, in the last few years. And at Adyen, we really truly believe in innovating as much as possible and really following those consumer needs. However, it's pointless to provide those innovations if you then require merchants to upgrade their integration and to make significant technical changes each time to benefit from those. So really for us, it's a twofold attempt between innovating as much as possible, but also ensuring that merchants don't have to do a lot of work to benefit from those new innovations. So I guess a good example of this would be, again, to bring it back to PSD2, but it's a very big topic, is the authentication methods of moving from 3D Secure 1 to 3D Secure 2. We've allowed our merchants that have integrated 3D Secure 1, which is the method being used for many years, to also benefit from the 3D Secure 2 authentications without any additional work at all. So that's another great way of how regulation has forced a lot of changes from a lot of players in the industry. We've made that transition as easy as possible for our merchants. Candy, I'll let you take the next question, if that's okay. It's more your area.
Perfect. Okay, so the question is, how can a payment provider help with customer support needs, e.g. finding and refunding transactions? Really, really great question. And again, goes to what we were talking about earlier. Well, I think the most important thing to consider is when you're working with a payment provider, it's essential that you're able to access and assess the data and information in a way that works for your business needs and daily operations. So what I mean by that is, for the person that is looking at your payment information on a daily basis, they need to be able to find what they need quickly to execute their job at speed. And this means having a payments dashboard that you're able to access quickly and that makes sense to you. So, for example, Adyen's dashboard makes it really easy for customer support. So you're able to search for transactions and shoppers very quickly and immediately take action, such as performing a refund in your example. And this is done without having to email support or perform functions in another system. So that's really important to consider when you are looking at a payment provider. And if you are looking for a checklist of things to consider when assessing a new payment provider, my details will be at the end. Please write to me. I'm happy to share that checklist with you. And another question that I wouldn't mind taking, Fred, is usually how will a consumer experiences differ in each country? And this talks to actually our customer stories that we were mentioning. Now, while you might be accepting payments globally, and really fantastic if you are, it's very important that your customers have a local experience. And that talks to local acquiring, but also that you have a payment provider that's able to offer you the same experience that is on brand with a local flavor. So this means that they're always able to find their preferred and local payment methods, in essence, but also that the payment experience in general should be customized to local behavior. Now, a truly global payment partner will take these local flavors into account when creating an operational overhead, essentially. So everything is done dynamically. A good example of this, you're going to be sick of PSD2 by the end of this, that's for sure. A good example of this is when credit cards on a Swedish checkout at the moment have been moved seamlessly over to the recent regulation of PSD2, implementing 3DS2 seamlessly without any real work from the merchant itself. It was done with the right payment provider, Adyen, and it made it much easier for the merchants.
Great, I can take the next one. So it says, for scaling businesses, what are the three main trends in payments we need to look out for? So we've actually been doing a lot of work recently on trying to determine what the newest payment trends will be for 2021. So I can take you through some of those. To start with, I think we'll continue to see a lack of distinction between the online and offline space. So rather than merchants having payments in store and online, and potentially from a social media campaign and other different sources, there'll just be this one omni-channel shopper experience. So merchants will be able to track shoppers across different channels, regardless of really the interaction or the way that they're interacting with that merchant. Secondly, I think we'll start to see the rise of click to pay. So click to pay is a way of, it's a wallet used for online checkout transactions, similar to PayPal, but created by the major networks like MasterCard, Visa, and American Express. And really the goal of click to pay is to create a standard within the online checkout space, similar to the standards that you see in shops with card terminal machines. So they want to create a very unified shopper experience for making payments online via merchants' websites. So that's going to be coming, I think, in the early phases of 2021. And I think we'll start to see some really large merchants adopt that payment method. And the third and final one, I was asked for three. I'll go back to PSD2 and talk a little bit about delegated authentication. So as a lot of you will know, as merchants and retailers, you'll start to have to use 3D Secure versions 1 and 2 a lot more starting next year. But delegated authentication is a way created by the schemes to bypass that authentication. So rather than using the protocols that are available on the market, merchants will be able to create their own authentication method and bypass 3D Secure. So this can be really powerful if you think about it from a mobile checkout experience where those 3D secure versions typically have low conversion. Merchants can take control of that authentication journey, and we really think it's going to be extremely important in the post PSD2 enforcement days. So Candy, I'm not sure, are there any more questions that you can see on the Q&A, or are we moving to the end?
I'm conscious of everyone's time. However, there was a really interesting one from Megan that I really want to answer, which is, what if customer journeys and needs evolve in the future? So when it comes to payments, is there a lot of additional work to make sure they are catered for future needs? I think this is a really great question, because it does talk to how important it is at selecting the right partner. Now, obviously, we are from Adyen, so we are going to talk about Adyen specifically, but I would recommend having a look at the customer base of your payment provider. Are they a technologically advanced business? Are they releasing product updates on a regular basis? And more importantly, do they own the entire payments journey? Now, one of the value propositions of Adyen is that we are the entire journey. We are the gateway, we are the risk tool, we are the processor, we are the acquiring bank, and we can connect directly to the schemes as well as to the issuing banks. So that's really, really important when you're looking at a business that's going to be able to innovate now and in the future, because a lot of payment providers out there will say that they are the entire journey, but when you scratch beneath the surface, you will see that, as I mentioned right at the start, they are a complex network of integrations, and by acquiring other businesses, they've been able to grow. Now, this means that they're able to provide more functionality, but it means that there are far more points of failure along that chain. And when innovation is demanded by your customer base, it takes far longer for those businesses to innovate, because they need to update all of those integrations across the channel. So I'd say that's the first thing to look for. Is this the entire payments journey? Do they have businesses like Facebook, Uber, Spotify that require the utmost in technological advances, working with them as Adyen does? And two, are they releasing those product updates on a regular basis? And if those boxes have been ticked, no, Megan, there won't be a lot of additional work that needs to be done. Great. So everyone, I'm very conscious of everyone's time. I know there are some additional questions that can be answered, which I would like to reach out to each of you. Fred, are there any questions that you would be like to address prior to us wrapping up?
I think for time's sake, we can always take those offline. More than happy to set up some calls with anybody who still has questions that need to be answered.
Fantastic. Okay, so for this purpose, everyone, here are my direct contact details. Please do reach out to me. We will be sending this recording to everyone that has attended today. Thank you for taking time out. I know you all have Christmas parties and things to attend this month, so I hope you have a fantastic festive season. Please do connect with both Fred and myself on LinkedIn. Write to me directly. We are here to provide advice, not only just for Adyen, but if you are looking at a payment provider, we're able to give you the right guidance. So please do reach out. Thank you very much, everyone. And we hope to see you at the next episode of our Scale Up series.